Hello again, welcome back. This is a little bit of an aside, so this won't belong to the other playlist, but I think it's rather important to make this point, and that has to do with something I just mentioned before, about this W-all switch, compiler switch, which enables, and I haven't known if there was such a thing, compiler warnings that are disabled by default. Okay, and I thought warning level 4 was the highest. It's not. So you can go a step higher, and therefore you must take that extra step. Now it's true, a lot of these warnings are kind of meaningless. If you have a look here in basic H here, I turned some of them back off again. Now, this is a warning that it's not necessarily meaningless, but that comes up when you're doing something like a load library and you have the function declaration and you know exactly what arguments it takes and what its calling convention is and so on and so forth. Then when you try to make that call, you get this warning. Now, I don't want this warning because whenever I make those calls, I've already made sure that the calling convention and everything is right. This here is a warning that could be important in certain scenarios. Like for instance, well, I don't have it, but with that gift thing, it was said structs. I don't know, one of those gift structs. And maybe it had three car values or something. Let's see. Head 3. I don't know. And then later on a D word value. Okay. Turn that warning on here. Okay. 1 bytes of padding added after C head. So that tells me that there's an extra byte here. Okay. Now that warning could be important, and so if you're worried about the packing of your struct, maybe you could turn this into a number defined, like double check padding, and figure out your struct and then turn it back off again. Otherwise you're going to get this on every single struct that you declare. You don't want that, right? You want that occasionally. Now, okay, so that's fine. Now you'll also notice in my basic header that go to some lengths somewhere here to undefine all of the any assert macro that might exist and redefine them to be my version. Okay, extra space here. Don't want that. Okay. Now, why have I done that? It's explained actually here that the CRT debug macro contains an error. This number sign expression in their version is here. However, this is supposed to be a format specifier, and then the rest of the thing is supposed to be the arguments. Now, if you've ever worked with printf and made the mistake of not putting percent something format specifier first, you may run into the following crash. Let's suppose I don't. Let's suppose I use their assert the. Okay, and how can I use it? Well, I have to undo this, or just don't include that. Well, I want to generate the error. What I can do is make the same mistake in my own assert, and just put expression here instead. Not this one, this one. Okay. Now, so suppose I have some integer variables. Fine. And okay, now I believe that 10 is multiple of 5, so I'm going to assert, my assert, that k% s equals 0. I'm going to run my program. Oh dear. Oh, no, that's right. Oh, not equal to 0. Of course, I gotta make it fail. Crash, okay? So, because now what's happened here is this expression has become the string k%s. And that's been inserted here as a format specifier because I used s as a variable name. Okay? In truth, k%s is a numerical expression. It's the remainder k when divided by s. But that's being interpreted as the letter k followed by a string, which is supposed to be the next argument. And so now it's trying to print out that string, and then it runs into a crash because it's not a valid string. Now, I don't want to undo everything, so that's why I just put the mistake in my own assert. Now I take the mistake back out. And I ran into this completely by chance because I was making assertions that included percent signs, and the expression was false, right? And it went to print out the assert line. I got that crash, and after a lot of fiddling around in research, I found that the mistake was in the C runtime assert with expression macro. Okay. Now mine, of course, is redefined. So that see here's the I'm surprised that it gives, but here it is. Message, right? Where's mine? Oh. CRT file line no %s message. So file line no message. That's the error, okay? So therefore I had to get rid of that. And that's why I have that there. Now, if I run with the repair assert macro, this expression will fail, but I get the correct result. Instead of crashing the system, I get that expression is wrong, or false. It is equal to 0. Alright. Now, I don't know if the people who wrote the runtime library are are aware of their own flags, but they would have found out about that error a long time ago if they had enabled all of those optional warnings. And one of the reasons probably why they disabled this one in particular, I think it's one of these two, is because if I turn it on, look at all the warnings I'm getting, it's just, this is too much noise. But I wonder where these are all coming up. Well, I wonder what this always validate thing said. Oh, it's got an assert in it. Okay, next one. Okay, that's the same. Oh, where there's an assert, E. That's strange. Seems every time there's an assert E. Okay, at this point, I went through a search and discovered that the reason for that warning wasn't what I just showed you. It was something to do with something else. So there's going to be discontinuity here. Some bits cut out and then an extra bit at the end. Sorry, the microphone's in the wrong place. If you didn't hear what I just said, I'm going to cut out a bit from this video here, just so there will be a slight discontinuity. Okay. There. Okay. Now, that looks to me like I got it backwards, but what if I put this back to percent? No, I still get it. For one thing, this is not the Unicode version. It should be W. In const carve 12, const carve 12. Oh, I need that, I see. Sorry. But it doesn't seem like... Okay, well, I take it all back. I think this was the intent. Yeah, no, it's fixed. Okay, so I was wrong. I'm gonna skip, but I still want to talk about this. So, um, those are simple bugs. These expressions are bugs. So I should run fix mallet.h, for instance. Um, Now these ones don't have any %s's. I haven't seen that crash occur. You know that crash will occur if any of their expressions contain a % sign. But enabling that warning wouldn't have helped them. But it would have helped them locate those other bugs, which are actual bugs. Okay, now what about this other warning? That's 26. So we'll turn off the 48 and leave the 26 on. This is quite important, this warning, and I have it optionally turned off because I can't modify these files. Well, I could modify them, but I have to be sure to put it in a special directory or something. Conversion from void star, okay, to void star pointer 64. Now this is explicit here. Here it says that the value returned from this function is supposed to be a void star, and then, but this thing here is a 64-bit. Oh, okay. H here is a void star. Now it says this thing is sign extended, okay? So now think about what that means. If this pointer value happens to be more than, this is an unsigned, it would be an unsigned void star pointer. If it's bigger than, let's say, 80000, 00000, if it's some value that begins with the letter F, which is possible for a pointer value, it begins with the letter C maybe as well. Typically negative values are, we'll have to look at a list. But anyway, then instead of getting what you're supposed to get, which is all zeros followed by that offset, that pointer offset, you're going to get all ones. And so in that case, you're going to get an unexpected behavior. Okay, so that's an important warning. And it comes up twice for the same function. Okay, in base standard.h. Now I should probably just fix the header file because it's only the one warning. And I'm not sure how to fix it, but somehow it's got to, I don't know how to make sure that it won't be sign extended. How do you fix it? Okay. So, sign extended cast, I'm going to 64-bit. If performed on a Windows handle type, it's safe to ignore. On a pointer type, you should modify the cast to prevent. See example below. Okay. Example. This is the warning. This is the warning. Modify the cast to prevent sign extension. See example below. Following example generates. How do I recast it properly? Okay. Oh, try the following line instead. Okay, so what you do is you put a U long in front of P first, and then U long long. Okay, that's all. So all I gotta do to fix this is put a here. See if they've done it correctly here. This one's correct, and this one's not correct. And why is it not correct? I see. No, this one takes a 64-bit in. What it needs to have in front of this is that U long and then U long long in front of age, and then it won't get the warning and the error won't occur. The sign extension won't occur, and you don't want the sign extension, right? It's not trying. This isn't trying to turn off the error, the warning. This is actually trying to fix the bug, to prevent the sign extension, not to prevent it from warning you about it. But they're saying that this is a bug. If this is used on a regular pointer type, it will be sign extended. The reason why it's safe with Windows handles, I guess, is because none of them as D words would cast to a negative number. They're all below a certain value. So I could fix this header, right? But I'm never using this. I don't think and anything else that would be using it would have already been compiled. So all I do is I disable that warning and the other one. For the runtime library, and then I turn them back on for myself. Now if I recompile, I won't get any warning, except where I make a mistake. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, you won't see it, but I spent a long time discussing one of the warnings that came up in connection with the assert macro, and it was one of these, but it wasn't for the reason that I had thought, so I'll cut that bit out.